Get ready for news and views from Lubbock, Texas, USA. What's going on and real talk with people who move and do things. This is the Focus LBK Show with your host, Robert Jenkins.
Well, all right, LBK, this is your brother Robert Jenkins coming with episode 108 of the Focus LBK Show. Today, I had some things I was going to talk about, and honestly, I just don't feel like talking about those. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of political stuff going on. It's a lot of craziness going on in this world. But I say, man, I don't really feel like highlighting all that stuff. So I say, what we going to talk about today? Well, it occurred to me that what we're going to talk about today is something that everybody wants to know about. And that is what's going on in Lubbock, Texas during this Halloween season. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a Christian man, and I know Halloween is tinged with darkness, but that's my favorite holiday. You know what? Halloween, the spookiness, the fall weather. Fall is my favorite season. The darkness. If you read any of my poetry, I'm constantly talking about being surrounded by darkness. I'm kind of a night owl by nature. I don't operate that way now. Been military life and post-military life. I've been getting up at 5 and 6 a.m. so long. It's kind of a habit. So I don't really operate as a night owl anymore. But if you leave me alone and I don't have no responsibilities, like when I take 2 weeks vacation, I'll be creeping back toward being a night owl. So I have an affinity for that darkness. I don't know why. And when I say darkness, I'm not talking about necessarily the spiritual darkness. I'm just talking about the it's almost hard to separate the physical darkness from the spiritual darkness. So I'm not in any way, form, or fashion talking about embracing any kind of darkness spiritually. But I do like to get into the fun of the season, because for every thing that is light, there is something dark. There's always an equal and opposite counterpart to things that we see, at least on this earthly realm. God is light, and there is no equal to him on the dark side, is my understanding. So I'm not really saying that there's an equality of force or power, but I'm saying that all of our ancestors have historically acknowledged that there's a dark side to life. There's a darkness in that. And so I feel good during Halloween. Like I said, I'm kind of a quiet, melancholy, spooky guy in a way. You know what I'm saying? I think I've been touched by that spirit realm. I think I be seeing through the veil sometimes, like the old folks used to say. So that's why I like Halloween and related concepts and seasons. Samhain is called. Samhain. Look like Sam Hain when you see it. I wrote a poem one time talking about dreadlock Maine on an airplane celebrating Sam Hain. Deep in winter's bone. Chickens coming home, so engage turbo boost. Something about the search for the truth. Man, I hate when you have a good poem in your mind, but you ain't looked at it in 15, 20 years. You can't remember how it goes. But anyway, we're talking about things that are going on in the LBK during this Halloween season, this October. And boy, there is a plethora of events occurring. The first one I want to talk about is the Breast Cancer Walk 2025. Lubbock, Texas, give back to the local community. Early detection is the best solution. This is put on by Gantman Development, LLC, and Brittany and Devon's Angels. Y'all know we was out there last year. We was walking for people that we know that had a bout with cancer, not necessarily breast cancer, but this year we have another very, very close family member who's having a kind of a bout with cancer. Again, it's not breast cancer, but nonetheless, we gonna get out there and walk in honor of that person. Really, the walk is a symbol of them walking into healthiness and overcoming that obstacle, just like you're overcoming the lake, going up that steep hill on the back of the lake. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's just like that, beating cancer. You know, them two steep hills back there. Cancer is a hill too, but it can be overcome. And before we even get to that event, I want to just pray and ask God's blessing and his intervention in the treatment of the people that each one of us in this situation right now, when we have people in our lives going through a fight with cancer, I want to ask God's protection and God's intervention into that situation and cover that person. And we pray this in Jesus' name, amen. But anyway, we walking this year. It's going to be the Breast Cancer Walk 2025. Going to be Saturday, October 18th. Boy, it is like 72 things going on October 18th. So take your pick, because I already got 2 things to be at. Maybe 3. Technically, I got 3. I don't know can I make all 3. I need a clone or something. Anyway, the Breast Cancer Awareness Walk, Lubbock, Texas. Date, Saturday, October 18th, 2025. Start time is going to be 9 a.m. And I just answered a question. This one is starting at 9. My other event's starting at 8. So I can go make some pictures over there. And I can come over to the Breast Cancer Walk right across MLK. And go to the Breast Cancer Walk at 9 and take some pics. Now, y'all asking me what this other event is that's going on at 8. I just learned about this like 30 minutes ago. I don't even think there's much advertising out for it. So if you're hearing it here, you're hearing it first, most likely. Anyway, let's get back to this Breast Cancer Walk. It is Saturday, October 18th, 2025. Start time, 9 a.m. Location, 2004. That's 4. F-O-U-R, 4. 2004, Oak Avenue, Lubbock, Texas, 79404. Presented and partnered by Gantman Development, LLC, Brittany's, and Devon's Angels. Y'all look on the page that we do called What's Going On for the week of, and you can look and see the flyer on this. It's got a QR code, but the single walker is going to be 10 bones, a team of 2 to 10 members, 25 bones. I don't know if that's each or per team. I do not know. But anyway, you are encouraged to wear pink, include a brief educational table or materials if you want to set up a table over there. Okay. Ensure water stations and rest stops are available along the route. These are additional notes. I think those are probably really internal notes. But anyway, Brittany's and Devon's Angels and Gantman Development with that 2025 Breast Cancer Walk. Now, I was talking about going to something before the Breast Cancer Walk and then going to the Breast Cancer Walk. And I'll probably go back to the other thing. I got another thing that day too. But the first thing I'm talking about, this is the brand new thing I just learned about. Reverend Charles Hankson, brother that's down, I think he's one of the founding members of the local 100 Black Men. He is well known for being the founder, the Reverend Charles and Rose Hankson Fishing Derby, the 100 Black Men Fishing Derby. Just put that on back in June or July. I think it was July, right? Well, guess what? Reverend Hankson, Charles Hankson, has another fishing derby that is about to go on. It's going to be, I just got this. I ain't got no flyer or nothing. Now, the man himself told me right when I was walking out of work, he said, yo, we got a fishing derby and it's going to be held for about 100 members. I think he said people who are residents of the Lubbock State Assisted Living Facility, also known as the Lubbock State School. That's what my mom worked there for couple decades. So I know it as the Lubbock State School. I get back home, it's called the Lubbock, I think it's the State Assisted Living Facility. So anyway, some of the residents of that facility are going to be having a fishing derby put on in their honor for them. That's going to be dope. People that have probably never fished before in their life. And I know that fulfills the mission of the fishing derby, which is to get, in this case, it's originally to get children involved in fishing, but in this case, it's going to get people who have not fished before, most likely themselves, who are not necessarily children, but the spirit is there and the mission is going to be fulfilled. So that is a special edition of the Charles and Rose Hankson Fishing Derby. Paperwork is hot off the press. Just got approved. That is going to be October 18th. That's Saturday, October 18th at 8 a.m. at May Simmons, behind May Simmons at Dunbar Lake. Y'all know where it's at. Y'all, where the original the regular fishing derby is held. It's going to be in the same spot. So get out there and check that out. See the looks of joy and accomplishment on the faces of those individuals from the state-supported or state-assisted living facility. And also head right across the road to the MLK. Head right across MLK to the Breast Cancer Walk 2025. I was looking at my electronics there trying to find the next event. Okay, so in October 18th and 19th, you got Oktoberfest Sausage Festival. Beer, food, and live music. It is going to be, where at? St. Joseph Church in Slayton. Or as my wife, lovely wife, she's very proper. She's Panamanian. They have a proper tinge to when they pronounce words. She ain't West Texan like me. I say everything country. My lovely wife has that Panamanian proper pronunciation. And she always says, in Slayton, it's going to be in Slayton. I can't even, it's hard for me to even say it properly. Slayton. I say Slayton. It's going to be over there in Slayton at St. Joseph Church. Oktoberfest Sausage Festival. That's kind of funny. There's other types of sausage festivals out there. I'm not going to get into that. But it's going to be October 18th and 19th, 2025. They're going to have beer, food, and live music. Saturday, they're going to have sausage sales by the package starting at 9 a.m. German beer. Adult drinks. So they say German beer and adult drinks. Like German beer is not an adult drink. I guess I don't know. Maybe kids drink beer in Germany too, I guess, from what I'm told. Soft drinks and German food. Okay. Junior Vasquez, live music from 11 a to 9 p. It's going to be Junior Vasquez, Jerry Serrano, Danny Cadra, and Sal. S-A-L, capital S-A-L. Okay. 108 East Broadway featuring Gone Country. Is that a band? 108th East Broadway? Or is that sound like the location of the lights on Broadway or something? Anyway, Sunday, they're going to have German meals served 11 to 1:30. Sausage and KOC, smoked chicken, $15 a plate. German music for listening enjoyment. And Fun Fest, silent auction, games, and a live auction. If you really want to learn more, why don't you just go on over to www.slaytonsausage.com. SlaytonSausage.com. Let me say it properly. SlaytonSausage.com in honor of lovely wife, saying it properly. Now, also on the 18th, I told you, man, it's a million things going on the 18th. October 18th, they got the Youth Violence Conflict Resolution Seminar. Join us October 18th at 12 p. at 1108 Avenue J. I don't know where that's at. 1108. I know where it's at, but I don't know what building that is. 1108 Avenue J, Lubbock, Texas. Stop killing and start healing youth violence. Now, this is something that we can take a moment to dwell on. So apparently, there's just been a lot of nonsensical violence here locally in the LBK. And it's always young cats. I talked about some of this a few weeks ago on the show. I was on a call in a meeting with some Department of Justice type individuals, high up law enforcement cats. And they were saying, one of them from Dallas was saying, man, that these people that they're looking at in Texas, especially in Dallas, they are shooting each other and killing each other over rap lyrics. That they're like little independent rap artists, little local rap artists, dissing each other online and then hear it and then get into a real fight and actually kill some. I say, man, you got to be kidding me. Oh, that is like me and my cousins used to say when I was a kid. That is dud. That is a dud. That is a no-go. You killing somebody over lyrics and ain't nobody making no money. Don't nobody know who you are. You ain't no big act. You a local dude talking smack about some other local dude, and then y'all apparently getting out here fighting and shooting over this stuff. I say, man, really? This is where we're at? You know, my solution to this, and I did suggest this on that meeting, and I think we are going to try to arrange this. I'm going to see, I know a brother, I think his name is Brandon Langdon. Yeah, he teaches concealed carry and all that kind of stuff. Well, part of the concealed carry class, I wanted to get him to come out and talk to these young people. Not necessarily teach them how to carry concealed, because most of them wouldn't be eligible. You have to be, I think, 18 at least now. If you're below 18, you're not even able to legally carry concealed. But that's not the point. See, when you take the concealed carry class, they talk about conflict resolution. They talk about when to shoot, but more importantly, when not to shoot, when you cannot shoot, when you shoot, you're definitely going to jail. those situations, because there's actually very specific circumstances under which you can successfully defend yourself, or legally defend. I say successfully defend from a legal standpoint. And if you violate those situational rules, you're going to jail. It's not self-defense. And everything that I have seen as far as these young kids with their violence, their street violence and firearms violence, they clearly don't know anything about firearms and don't care. Well, first of all, that part of that is a cultural thing. If you don't care about life, you're talking about Black Lives Matter. I used to always say, Black Lives Matter. I say, well, black people need to act like it. If we could get more black people to act like Black Lives Matter, we wouldn't even be having none of these discussions. But here we are. So that was my idea, was to get this firearms instructor to come out and talk about the downside of shooting somebody. And then we was even seeing, can we get somebody to view someone who has been killed, scaring them straight. We trying to do something. There's a great desire in the community to do something about this senseless violence. And unfortunately, I have a pretty pessimistic view on it, because I do not feel that we can correct this quickly. And the reason I don't feel that we can correct it quickly is because it didn't start quickly. This violence, in my opinion, from what I can see, being a man of respectable years and also being a history major, someone who studies history, someone who's constantly engaged with Black history and American history in general, this seems to me to be a result of single parent homes in the Black community, not raising men to be stoic, men who contain their emotions and channel their anger properly. I think those things have to be taught by men. I remember the men in my life. My dad, first and foremost, Robert Jenkins Jr., my grandpa, Robert Jenkins Sr. I'm Robert Jenkins III, so I'm a third king. I remember all of those two esteemed gentlemen, both of them, I should say, teaching me that being a man is about controlling yourself. Being a man is about doing things that you don't want to do. That's discipline. Discipline is saying beforehand what you will do and then doing it no matter what. That's discipline. It's about controlling your emotion. This violence that we see in our community is about losing emotion. Some people would say it's about handling emotion, handling your feelings and emotions in a feminine way. I don't know if I would go that far. Let's say that, women are emotional is what they claim. Some women are, some aren't. But I know one thing. Men, most of the men that I grew up with in my life, I never saw them, well, with very few exceptions, saw them angry, upset, and acting a fool. Now, some of those men did, in fact, get angry and get upset and did act fools, because some of them even went to prison. So, nonetheless, they can teach you something, because people can teach you how to act by the way they act, or people can teach you how not to act by the way they act. So you can follow the example in positive and negative ways. You know what I'm saying? Even negative behavior can serve as a positive example if you decline to engage in that. So anyway, I feel like this youth violence deal is needed. I think we already had one of these, and I'm looking at the fact that, well, there's several things. You don't really see too many white kids doing this kind of senseless violence, although, white kids have been shooting up stuff lately, especially trans white kids. I call everybody that's under 25, that's a kid. That's what happens when you get older. Everybody that's under 30, you're like, these kids. I'm saying that like I'm 72 or something. But yeah, so I said all that about violence to say that on October 18th at 12 p.m. at 1108 Avenue J in Lubbock, Texas, USA, we have the Stop Killing, Start Healing seminar, Youth Violence Conflict Resolution Seminar. Looks like some worthy stuff. If you want to go down to Big Spring, switching gears here, a little depressing talking about all that violence and stuff, they got Big Spring Trade Days. Some of you wonder why I say Big Spring, because my grandpa, Robert Jenkins Sr., never said ing on any word in existence. If it ended in ing, it was pronounced ang. I don't know why. He's a country boy. So it wasn't no Big Spring. It was Big Spring. We're going down to Big Spring. Big Spring trade days fall into Big Spring's biggest shopping weekend. I'm tempted to go, but man, it's on the 18th. I can't. Oh, it's on the 19th too. I don't know if I can do it, but it's open to the public. Howard County Fair Barn, 2900 Old Highway 80, Big Spring, Texas. If you go to Big Spring, Texas, you ain't gonna find it because it ain't in Big Spring. It's in Big Spring. October 18th and 19th, open to the public. Saturday to 10 a.m. to 5 and Sunday 10 a.m. to 4. F-O-U-R, that's 4. Reserve your spot. It say reserve your spot, but I don't see no code on here or nothing. Anyway, we got all kind of other good stuff on the 15th. Dang, man. Everything is on Saturday, October 18th. Hispanic Heritage Month Poetry and Art Contest open to all creative minds. Is your mind creative? Mine is. Theme, honoring the past, inspiring the future, embracing rich traditions. I ain't gonna write no poem for this. And it's at 2 on Saturday, October 18th at Patterson Library. I may not even be able to work it up there, but man, make it up there, but man, yeah, I'm gonna try to swing through and do something. It looked like it's a generous donation by El Editor. Y también by Corazón con Razón. That's who's sponsoring it. Shout out to El Editor, Amalia Agüero. Dang, everything on here is October the 18th. I told you, man, October the 18th is the day this month to get out and do something. You can't say it ain't nothing to do in Lubbock, Texas, when there's 72 things to do on October the 18th, calling all artists. That's calling all artists a very spooky horror show. October 18th, 6 to 10 p.m. at De Nada. I don't know where De Nada is, but it's at De Nada, which means it's nothing. Or, you're welcome. Fresh Pick Tuesday, Farmers Market. That ain't what I was trying to get to. October 25th. Here's something that ain't on the 18th. Spooky Stacks Showdown, Pancake Decorating Contest, October 25th. You know this is Ricky Real Deal Sherfield, creative stuff, man. Talking about Spooky Stack Showdown, decorating pancakes in the month of October instead of pumpkins. Okay. If you want to get a table at the thing, setup time is 8 a.m. If, let's see, vendor, I can't really read. That's very little. But anyway, you can contact him at 903-316-2735. That's 903-316-2735. He's trying to get some vendors for this Spooky Stacks Showdown Pancake Decorating Contest. Tell you what, November 1st, the Roots crew over at the Booker T. Washington Community Garden is going to be having a pick your own deal. That's at 2109 Cedar, right over here, back in Chapman Hill at the Roots Booker T. Washington Community Garden. So, Lubbock, I just wanted to run through those real quick. I just could not bring myself to talk too much about no political stuff today. I am just not in the mood. I don't even care. The older I get, the more I'm mainly trying to ensure my household is tight and together. You know what I'm saying? That's our first duty. Everybody, you out here running around the community and stuff. First, let's make sure my stuff is tight. You got to make sure your stuff is tight. Then we can run around the community. But everybody listening to this show, I know your stuff is tight. Because if your stuff wasn't tight, you wouldn't be listening to this show. So that means we can all get out and enjoy this stuff going on in the community. 72 things going on Saturday, October 18th. It is going to be the day in the LBK for some good community fun. You got everything from impromptu 100 black men fishing derbies for the residents out there at the state supported living facility. And you also have the cancer walk, the breast cancer walk. They are side by side on either side of MLK. Y'all know where it's at. May Simmons, right there. Lake 6. Is it Lake 6? Yeah, it's Lake 6. I think it is. Yeah, it sure is. I made a video about it. I don't know. Speaking of videos, man, I'm going to tell y'all how things work. So a few weeks ago, show you we live in a small world and you never know who's looking and who's listening. So a few weeks ago, I did months ago, I made a video on Eugene Rockemore, who was a commercial and community photographer here in the LBK from the 1950s on up to the late 1980s. So this man had 35 years or so of taking pictures, making pictures in the community here. And in fact, when you see a lot of pictures, especially of the East Side and black citizens here in Lubbock, you come to find out those pictures were made by Mr. Eugene Rockemore. Well, so I did the film on him. I was super inspired by him, just like TJ Patterson them. He one of them cats. I'm looking at his picture right here. I got his picture right here. Big old, looked like about a 18 by 24 inch image of him right here. And he's so inspirational to me. I made a film about him. Well, I put that film back up. That was last Black History Month. So I put it up again a few weeks ago just because I'm proud of it and I want him to inspire you too. If he inspired me, I figure, man, let me put it out there. Maybe he'll inspire some of these this next generation of photographers. I don't know. So I put it up there again and some people saw it. Leadership of the city of Lubbock saw it and they liked it so much. They were like, hey, can we put this up at City Hall? And I say, can we? Why, yes, we can. So I'm in the process now of trying to round up some of those pictures, the actual pictures, or get them printed off in a nice format so that they're large and fresh and crisp pictures. The pictures that I have are kind of old and they've been stored in storage and stuff like that. So, they dog-eared on I don't want to put those up. So I'm just saying, people, I hear so many people saying Lubbock is racist. Lubbock is so racist that they want to make a special, display in City Hall to put up pictures made by a black community photographer whose relatives still live here and whose subject matter of his pictures dealt, I won't say all exclusively, but very heavily with the black citizens here in this fair city, this fair flat city of ours. So I'm just saying, they're doing a terrible job at being racist. They just honoring black people, honoring TJ Patterson. It's just, I don't know. I think people just be talking sometimes. I be looking for this racism and half the time I just don't really be seeing it. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna lie, about 98.632% of the time, I just don't be seeing it. So I'm convinced people just say that to complain. Racist just mean, I don't like the way they doing. It don't really mean racist anymore. Most words that we grew up with don't seem to mean what they actually used to mean. Changing language is not a good thing. And if you're changing language, if you're the one doing it, you might not necessarily be on the right side. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I ain't trying to get too political. I'm just saying. Here you go, LBK. Look out. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I can get all these photos together and we can get with facilities at the city of Lubbock and we can get these photos of the denizens of Lubbock's East Side looking good and proud, heads held high, smiles, and having a good time. That's what these photos depict. That's why I was so taken with them, because you don't see that side of things too much. You know what I'm saying? People always want to talk doom and gloom and racism and depression and blah, blah, blah. But that's not what his pictures depict. Mr. Rockemore's pictures show us a whole other side of life. And I know I've talked about him several times on this show, and I would probably talk about him several more times. So hope you like him. And if you don't like him, if you keep listening, you're going to start liking him, because I'm going to keep pumping him up. Shout out to Tim and Willis as well. Some of his nephews, they was in the film. Peace to them brothers. Look here, I'm finna boogie on out. I'm finna slide back like Michael Jackson, but I just wanted to say, man, you can't really beat that. They want to see Eugene Rockemore's photo displayed prominently on these pillars. We're going to try to get something that I got to get with facilities and figure out how to do it. But I'm just happy to see that some people are looking at his photos, because they're magical. When I look at them, man, I'm a photographer, so I'm a photo nerd anyway, but I be looking at his photos, man. I just be like, wish I'd have took that picture, man. That's how I got camera envy. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I wish I'd have took that shot. That's a good shot. Y'all ever do that? Whatever your profession is, you ever look at somebody else and be like, yo, I wish I'd have did that. If somebody do something so well, I ain't no player hater. Shoot, I love to see players play. You know what I'm saying? I love seeing people, especially Lubbockites, do what they do. Anyway, man, I'm just rambling and running my mouth. Let me go on and close this thing out and just remind y'all, man, get on out and see what is going on in the LBK on the 18th and 19th of October, but especially the 18th of October. Everybody and their mama is doing something dope. Get out there and support it. Take part in it. Make some photos, make some friends, smile, drink some water, walk around the lake, see some fishing, sausage fest. Every time I say that, that's funny. I'm sorry. I want to chuckle every time I say that. It's a sausage fest in here. It's in Slayton. It's a sausage fest. Anyway, LBK, Robert Jenkins, thanking y'all for tuning in to the Focus LBK show. We got some guests coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We're arranging them as we speak. And with that, we're going to say peace in 2 digits. We're out.